Stories about America to read aloud. Number 11, Forest Giants. Did you ever hear of a tree so big that the road has been cut through its base? A passage large enough for an automobile to drive through? If somebody told you that a man built a house in one end of a fallen hollow log, a real house with window and door, and a big stone fireplace, what would you say? Ha! What a story, you might say. It doesn't fool me. I've seen trees, big trees, but nobody could drive an automobile through one, and if one fell down, nobody could build a house in the end of a log. And that is just what people everywhere said when they first heard about the giant and ancient sequoia trees that grow in California. When the first men who had seen them, trappers and explorers in the far west, told their friends back home about their find, the people laughed. Impossible, said the people. A tree 30 feet through the bottom and 300 feet high and 3,000 years old? Impossible. But today we know that there really are such trees. Many of them even have special names. One is named the chief sequoia tree, after the Cherokee Indian who invented an alphabet for his people. Indeed, that is why the general term for all the trees is sequoia, to honor the wise Indian. There is an Abraham Lincoln tree and a George Washington tree. There is one named Black Chamber because its whole inside has been eaten out by fire, but still it grows. Another tree is called Grizzly Giant, and it is believed to be 3,800 years old, 3,800. That means it was an old tree at the time when Christ was born. It was a very old tree when Columbus discovered America. The tree with the automobile highway cut through it is the Wawana tree. Every day people drive on this road that runs straight through the bottom of the tree trunk. And the biggest tree of all, the world's largest living thing, is named the General Sherman tree. You know how big a 5-room house is, don't you? Well, the General Sherman tree has enough wood in its main trunk to build 40 5-room houses. There really are two kinds of giant sequoia trees. They both grow in California, and they're both very big and very old. One is larger, though, and this kind is usually known as the big trees. The other kind is known as the redwoods, for its wood is a bright cinnamon red color. No ordinary fire can kill a big tree. Its thick bark is almost fireproof, although some of the trees bear scars from fires that blazed long ago, and its wood never decays. But sometimes lightning strikes a big tree and it falls. Then it may lie on the ground for hundreds of years, yet its wood is still good. A fallen big tree, hollowed out, was where a pioneer stockman built his strange house. It consisted of one room, 8 feet high in the front and 56 feet long. The man lived there during the summers while his animals grazed on the meadow grass near the big tree forest. Men used to cut down the big trees to get the lumber, but other people thought that was wrong. They thought such great grand trees that had taken thousands of years to grow should not be cut down. Instead, they should be protected and treasured. So the United States government set aside the regions where the big trees and redwoods grow as national parks. Now it is against the law to cut down the trees in the parks. But everyone can visit the national parks and see these forest giants. If you visit the big trees and stand beneath one, do you know how big you will look? You will look just about as big as an ant beneath a beanstalk. And that's not very big, is it? But even though the trees are very tall and have enormous trunks, they have tiny leaves. And even though the wood of these trees is red, they are called evergreen trees because their little leaves are green all winter. Perhaps you wonder how we know that sequoias are so old. We can tell their age by their rings. When a tree falls or is cut down, we count the rings in a cross section of the trunk. There is a ring for every year of the tree's life. One fallen big tree has 3,150 rings. Sequoias do not grow anywhere else in the world except in the far western part of the United States. That is something to remember, that the largest living things in the world belong to the people of the United States of America, the big trees, kings of the forest.